Citroen have a long and proud history of building quirky, stylish cars, but over the past few years there have been a few Citroens that have been dreary rather than desirable. But the good times may well be back with the arrival of the cute and rather quirky new C3. It replaces the old C3 and follows on from the C4 Cactus in showcasing Citroen's new confident brand image. It immediately stands out from rivals like the Ford Fiesta, the Renault Clio and the Volkswagen Polo, thanks to focusing on features like quirky styling, fun customisation and a comfortable interior. Now you can spec your C3 with these rather ingenious little air bumps along the side here that will banish car park prangs forever. And whatever you may think of this minty green colour, it's one of a very bold palette of colours that does allow the C3 to really stand out from the other cars on the road. And for added identity, you can change the roof colour too. And the opportunity to customise your C3 continues on the inside with the ability to choose lots of different inlays and seat fabrics. And you know, when it comes to seats, these are really nice and wide and they're just incredibly comfortable. What with this kind of lovely relaxing armrest as well. I almost feel like I'm in something that's come from a modern chic furniture store and not a seat that's been designed for a car. And in fact, that modern chic feel is just all over this interior, you know, from the lovely grab handles on the doors to the way the Airbump theme is continued with these recesses in the doors. And the dashboard just has a very nice look and feel. The whole thing in here feels very stylish and like a lot of thought has gone into it. Okay, look, there are some rather nasty, scratchy plastics up here on the front, but I will forgive that for an interior like this. However, not quite so forgivable is the size of the glove box. It's minuscule. And also the cup holders down here. They are tiny. I mean, I don't know what the people designing this car drink. Being French, probably lots of little espressos, but you're certainly not going to fit my big cup of tea in there. However, looking at the positives again, you do get Isofix child seat points here in this front seat, which is an absolute godsend for a mum like me. This interior design is all part of Citroen's new advanced comfort ethos. So from the car's comfortable ride and supportive seats, the C3 has been designed to be relaxing to be in. The C3 is also meant to be technological too. Virtually all of the car's functions are controlled with the elegant touchscreen, which is available on the mid-level Field trim and upwards. And it has Apple connectivity, DAB and Bluetooth. The entry-level touch version gets an impressive amount of safety kit as standard, such as lane departure warning and speed limit recognition. Our range-topping flare model adds extra style with its customisable roof and interior trim packs, a reversing camera, air bumps and Citroen's new connected cam, but we'll have more of that later. And that stylish, well-thought interior is carried on here in the back, where it's got a really nice look and feel. You've got a very practical bench seat, which means that you will just about squeeze 3 adults across here. A couple of Isofix child seat points. However, one thing that does let it down is head height. I'm only 5'4" and it isn't fantastic. It's mainly due, of course, to this panoramic roof, but it is a shame because it does make it less practical here in the back. One thing though that is very practical is the way the door bins, both here and in the front, are painted a lighter colour. Things always get lost in them, and that's just genius. It means you can see what's in there. Now Citroen have set out to make the C3 practical, and it is. It does have a very large boot. It's larger than the boot you'll find on the Ford Fiesta, the Vauxhall Corsa or the Peugeot 208, although not quite as good as the one you'll get on the Skoda Fabia or the Honda Jazz. Width-wise it's fine, the lights just impinge on it slightly, but not too much, and you do have a 60-40 split folding seat, although you find when you push that down that it doesn't fold completely flat. And there is also a pretty large lip here, which means it's quite a drop getting things in and out of the boot. You can have your C3 with a couple of naturally aspirated 1 litre and 1.2 litre petrols or a 1.2 litre turbo. There's also 2 1.6 litre diesel engines that emit just 93 grams per kilometre of CO2 and return up to a claimed 80 miles per gallon. Now, whilst the diesels sound impressive, they're really not worth the extra money over the petrols unless you regularly drive on motorways. The petrol engines in the C3 are some of the best three-cylinder engines around, and unusually for a three-cylinder engine, they're smooth, they're pretty quiet, and they're relatively fuel efficient. Now, Citroen claim the 109 brake horsepower engine that we've got here will do 61 miles to the gallon. Now, we're getting in the low 40s, which is really pretty good.
The engine is just one part of what feels a very impressive car on the road. Citroen has tried to go back to its core strengths of building comfortable and relaxing cars, so the C3 rides bumps very well despite its large alloys. The steering is accurate, even if it doesn't feel that connected to the wheels, while visibility is great and the controls are light.
Now, do you remember I mentioned something called connected cam? Well, in the range-topping Flare model, you get a video camera mounted on the mirror. Now, what this does is allow you to take a photo or 20 seconds of video and upload it to social media via an app. It also has a very clever safety feature too, because if the C3 senses that you're about to have an accident, it will automatically record around 30 seconds of footage before the impact and about a minute of footage after you've crashed. And it also comes fitted with GPS, which should help you when you're filling out those insurance forms, or if, as happens to me all the time, you've lost your car and can't remember where you parked it in the multi-storey car park. All you need to do to activate the camera is press a little button just here on the mirror, and away you go. Hi, Batch. I can't get away from him.
The Citroen is also great value for money. You can check out full prices on carbuyer.co.uk, but a mid-range C3 with an 82 brake horsepower engine comes with all the features you need and costs around the same price as an entry-level Ford Fiesta. But for all the Citroen's charm and clever good points, there are a few areas where it's not so good. With its soft suspension and numb steering, the C3 is positioned at the comfortable end of the market. A Ford Fiesta is considerably more fun to drive. And there are also a few ergonomic flaws. The gear lever has a long throw on it, and it's quite notchy to use. And whilst the dashboard layout looks smart, it would have been nice to have had the air conditioning controls separate, because a quick change of temperature involves having to take your eyes off the road and start prodding at the screen.
And finally, whilst the C3 very much trades on just how customisable it is, the options list is long and very expensive. Sat-nav is a costly £500 option, and all those different colour choices can really add up.
The Citroen C3 may not be as good to drive as the Fiesta or as classy as the Polo, but it has something that's been missing in the super mini market, and that's character. It's quirky to look at and be in, has all the technology you could want, and is good value to buy and run. If you like the Citroen C3, then check out the Ford Fiesta on the left and the VW Polo on the right. Click the play icon for our latest video and click on our logo to subscribe.